What is up, everybody? Welcome on in to the Friday edition of Coop's Fantasy Football Fiasco. Kevin, are you frozen or are you just standing extremely still? Because if you are, that is impressive. I think he's there. All right. Well, either way, Andrew Cooper here in the house. Kevin Tompkins might actually be frozen. I really don't know. It's really got me in a twist here. But what's up, everybody? Welcome on in. This is Alarm Fantasy Football, and what we're gonna do here is so he did freeze. There you go. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna break down the weekend slate of games. We're gonna hit every single one and just give you the best picks from each one, the top matchups for each one. We'll try to answer your questions too in the chat. And then once we get all those pulled in, once we get them all together, what we're going to do is we're going to take those best names and we're going to make an FFPC lineup. For those that don't know how that works, it is my favorite weekly platform to play on because you can create absolutely insane super teams. You can go in and start any player you want with no salary, no drafts, no nothing. Just can't pick two players from the same team. There we go. Kevin Tompkins back, dude. You froze with like this look on your face. And
Look, that was by design, man.
I couldn't tell if you were. Oh, here, let me get the. I got.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you were hitting the psych out with the freeze move, dude, or if you actually did froze. So,
I can't. Yeah. I could not stand that still for a long time with all the caffeine.
It looked like you were moving a little bit.
With all the caffeine coursing through my veins at any point in the given day, and with the week 8 slate here, like who am I to be stoic and statuesque in a time like this?
I thought you were pulling it off, dude. But anyway, we're back together, man. It's been a long time since we've done a show together. We used to do a ton, especially back in the day with Gary Haddow. Big shout out to Gary, SFB 9 champion, and forever in our hearts. But yeah, we're back in. I already let the people know. We're going through, hitting game by game, pulling the top names out, and we're putting together an FFPC lineup. If you want to play over an FFPC, use promo code ALARM. They'll give you 25. They'll give you $25 when you deposit $35 or more. So up in the top corner up there, boom, just hit that QR code at any point during the show, or hit this one right here if you want to get in. So without further ado, I'm just gonna pull it right up. Well, Kev, let me ask, how you been, man? What you been working on?
What am I not working on? Right. You know, we're all in this, you know, the big grind, the rat race, if you will, of fantasy football content creation, you know, putting out stuff for the masses, helping people win. You know, it's a grind, you know, and I know it, we all know it, but you know, it's what we love to do, and we love to get these takes out there in the ether and let them sit. You know, they might not go well like maybe our Amon-Ra St. Brown takes from a few years ago, but you know what? We come out swinging and hit Aronde Gadsden.
Right. We do the best we can, dude. You just got to bounce back, because that's the thing with fantasy football that you got to realize, you know, and I know there's some accounts out there that like to be very mean about it, you know, the fantasy receipts of the world. But at the end of the day, we're trying to help you. You know what I mean? We want to win. We want you to win. We're doing our best here. And if we come across information, we share it. If we think we have a player that's going to be great, we put it out there. If we think we have a player to stay away from, we put it out there. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. But just know, none of it's malicious. Not from this crew, at least. Like, no. We're just trying to help you guys. So, and look, we got some Kevin fans in the house here. Charlene's here. And look at that. Ani Coop.
Hi, Kevin. Ani Coop.
Yeah, missed you. Looking cool as always. Yeah. And we see the rest of you guys. Brad T hanging out. Mile High Luke, Lobos, Victor, Jerry, the whole gang, man. The whole gang. So we're going to get in. We're going to start going through these games. We got a start sit from Zay, though. Which tight end would you start? K-Dot or Dalton Schultz? Both very good spot starts, 1 week spot starts.
Yeah, it just goes to, do you trust CJ Stroud in that entire environment in Houston, or do you trust Baker Mayfield? And potentially could get a bingo square off really quick on Andrew Cooper bingo, having to face the New Orleans Saints with K. Dotton. So I would go K. Dotton, just because that obviously Mike Evans collarbone, you know, Chris Godwin is out. It's going to be very condensed to Mecca Buka, Otten, and then a lot of the other wide receivers are really like, you know, secondary kind of spotty guys, to where K. Dotton can probably drive some volume.
Right. And K. Dotton, you know, I have him ranked ahead as well. he has his bye next week, but Schultz faces the Broncos next week. Nico Collins will probably be back, so it's not like you're starting Schultz multiple weeks anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
just going out in there. All right, let's pull it up. Here's what we're doing today. We're going in and we're going to put as many of the best matchups, the best of the best of the best, into our little sheet here. And at the end, we're going to make an FFPC lineup. And again, we can start anyone we want. Can't start two players from the same team. So are you ready, Kev?
I'm about as ready as ever. Let's do this.
Let's get in. All right. First team here, Jets. Are we even considering any Jet? That's the real question for this team.
Look, just like Amazon Web Services, I think there's been an outage all season with these Jets. So there's nobody you could even conceivably think like, healthy Garrett Wilson is a conversation starter, but that's where it starts and ends with this team. It is persona non grata.
Easy enough, man. I'm down to skip him again. It's like Breece Hall is not really even getting the full workload.
Right.
I don't know what the deal with that. They love mixing and matching. They're using Isaiah Davis on some pass downs. Like Hall could do a little something, but I don't know. I think that they should trade him while they can and get something back. What about the Bengals side with Joe Flacco at the helm?
I mean, no Sauce Gardner. So, I mean, even if he was, I think you still kind of put Chase in there.
Yeah.
But, you know what? And I'm wearing the hoodie today. I think T. Higgins I think he could be in conversation. You're mostly going Chase in a contest like this where you want the best plays. But don't sleep on T. Higgins, especially with Flacco kind of bumping up that passing game environment in Cincinnati.
Every once in a while, he has a 3-touchdown monster game, dude. So
he has the Will Ferrell debate game where like he is so locked in, and then after the game, he's like, "What happened? I blacked out."
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think that's the way to go. Not really trusting, obviously, Noah Fant or Chase Brown really for me. So there you go. Yeah, Wilson and Sauce both out. So we'll see here. We will see. Their best two players, they just gave them so much money. So Chase is the guy. We're not going to consider Flacco for something like this. So let's just put him in there and move along. Got a question here in the chat from old Maximus. Half PPR need one out of Diggs, Waddle, and Tez Johnson. Are you in on Tez? Tez there's always the hype name, the hot name floating around. Tez is definitely the one as of right now.
I mean, I think he's got to eat a steak at some point because Tez Johnson, what's he like? 150, but he's basically Tutu Atwell.
When you just hurdle and spin away from people, though, you don't have to worry about it.
But he might be like a better ball like I don't know, he's a better ball in hand guy, but certainly like target earning, he might be a little bit better than like a Tutu Atwell. Like at that size, you really have to pop to be able to kind of stick around in the league.
You got to figure out how to get down and not get hit.
Yeah, exactly. But like for this, I mean, Diggs and Waddle are pretty close together just because I think Miami is a bit of a sinking ship right now. Things are still condensed, so like you still like that from a player standpoint. I think I'm probably, at Atlanta defense has been really good this season, like quietly. And then at home against Cleveland, I think I would still go Waddle here. Just because of the condensed offense, and the Patriots spread the ball around. Kayshon Boutte's been awesome the last couple of weeks. They've run a lot of the stuff through Ramondre. So
and Waddle, he's a little banged up, but Diggs is dealing with this chest issue, and I think it's limited his snaps. I think that's why he's not really playing a full snap share. So I think it's Waddle, man. I think it's Waddle, and if you really want to go crazy and shoot for upside, maybe Tez, but I think Waddle's the way to go. Jets are showing twice here. Yeah, they are. What team is supposed to be there? The Giants are playing the Broncos. No. Why did I put the Jets in there twice? The Giants are playing the Eagles. That should be the Eagles. Thank you, chat. The super this super in-depth program I have here, very special. I was able to edit it, but I won't be able to edit anything else because it's a lot of work. Okay, here. Bills, Panthers. Let's start on the Panthers. And this is once again kind of a yes or no type situation because we're not going to use a kicker. We're not going to use a defense. We're not going to use their quarterback. The running backs split each drive? Well, I think did Tompkins freeze again, or is he going stoic on us? I'll wrap up the Panthers here by saying with this split where it goes Dowdle one drive, Chuba one drive, Dowdle one drive, Chuba one drive, this isn't the format for those guys. There are places to use them, but we need the best of the best of the best. We only want to start guys that can finish top 5 at their position if they're a running back or wide receiver, essentially. And same for tight end and quarterback. We need somebody that's going to finish top 3. That's how you win in this contest. So Panthers to me are probably off the table here. Kev, I was just letting everybody know that Panthers are off the table unless you wanted to go with Tedero and McMillan, but with the red rifle at quarterback. But I don't know if he's going to crack this type of lineup. Where are you at with him? How high do you have him?
I mean, I do like Ted McMillan. He's probably like a mid-range wide receiver too, but I'm still not, in this contest where you want your best plays, your highest ceiling plays, if you're not just taking like the stone chalk.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Panthers have a very low floor especially in a game against Buffalo, where Buffalo certainly has a couple options, but yeah, I'm probably still off of McMillan in this contest.
Yeah, on the Bills side, you always got to throw Josh Allen's name in the ring.
James
Anybody else?
Cook, man,
Yeah,
it is
it's a good
all.
matchup for him.
Yeah, he is probably my favorite like DFS play of the week. In terms of and I think that can certainly obviously translate to a thing like this, but they've come out and said that we didn't use James Cook the way we wanted to before the bye. I feel like that's going to be a spot where they're going to get back to where James Cook has been a 70% snap guy like all throughout the season until
he
before
wasn't
their
last
bye.
year. He wasn't last year, right? Like last year, they were using Ty Johnson, they were using Ray Davis, and this year they paid the man, and their intention is to run him a lot. I think this is he gets back on track here. So we'll either use Allen or Cook there. We can only use one. That's the rules at FFPC, but we can load this lineup with some monsters. So we will be doing that. Giants at Eagles here. Let's start on the Giants side. Probably no Dart. Is Scatabo in contention? How high do you have Scatabo ranked this week? Do you have him top 12?
I mean, he's on the cusp there, but they've built the plane out of him. That's the best part about playing a guy like Scatabo is that he feels very safe in terms of like workload and not just like in rushing stuff. Like he's involved in the receiving game too, because obviously you don't have neighbors. You've got a lot of ambiguity with all those options there. Wandale, Theo Johnson, etc. Slayton's been hurt, but yeah, the fact that they've built the plane around Scatabo is like really awesome from a floor perspective, and then still carries the ceiling. But I mean, in this matchup where the Eagles are going to be coming out firing because they lost by 17 points on national TV.
Yeah, some teams are running into it this week, right? Like the Panthers too. Like the Bills just lost 2 weeks in a row, and then they had a bye week. Panthers are in big trouble. The Panthers are underneath the Giants' foot right now, and same
the
goes
bill has arrived.
Right? Yeah, it's like this is the one. It's like that year that the Patriots lost a bunch, and then they crushed Cincinnati, dude. And it was like they lost a couple games. Like you got to be real careful about that stuff. So I think that was the famous "We're on to Cincinnati" game. But the Eagles here are going to have somebody from this team, but who to pick? That's the game with the Eagles every week.
I mean, it certainly could be Hurts. I mean, we finally saw the closest thing we've seen to 2024 Philadelphia Eagles minus Saquon Barkley, who 430 touches, including the postseason. That's going to take a toll on a guy, and we're at 3.4 yards per carry so far in the season, something like that. Like it's not great, Bob. But we saw Devonta Smith go off. AJ Brown obviously went off too. Goddard has been very much not a manufactured guy, but it's spotty, just like it always has been with his production. He'll come out with like that 9 for 110 game, and then he'll get 2 pop. Travis Kelce pop passes to score.
If we get no AJ Brown, then it could be that game for Goddard. But Goddard's also been banged up himself. As Jerry points out in the chat, AJ Brown not practicing again today, and this is Friday, so I'm expecting him to be out probably.
Yeah, Sirianni did say that he could play even without practicing. Like he kind of threw that little nugget out there to sow even more doubt for people that are setting their lineups. So
good point from Charlene. Scatabo did crush last time they played the Eagles, but the way I look at that, Charlene,
now there's film.
I would rather just bet on the Giant. If we believe it's going to look like that again, I would just bet on the Giants to cover the spread. Because they're expected to get whooped here. So let's put Smith's name down, and you got to put Barkley's name on the sheet just because. I don't know. I don't know if we really want to run Goddard this week.
Yeah, Barkley is the emeritus option.
We got to put him in there just out of respect. Browns, Patriots. Patriots favored by 7. Browns pretty good run D. So probably not. Ramondre is not even a guy we're ranking high enough to even consider in something like this. But in your redraft leagues, you're probably just starting him. Drake May under consideration. What do you think?
I mean, Drake May is certainly consideration. This is probably going to be like a May floor game. So
Yeah.
I think it's really going to have to be, you're really getting different, but I don't know how different you want to get in a contest like this.
What we could do, the rare scroll over and maybe some Patriots defense.
Patriots right? Defense feels pretty good. I mean, look, Dylan Gabriel's not a high ADOT passer. We know he, favors the tight ends over like the wide receivers. The fact that you're not getting downfield certainly cuts down on the upside for your offense. It's 60.75 applied point total. I believe that's the lowest or the second lowest next to what?
Based on the shade of red there. Oh, look, the Titans, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so no surprise.
I usually explain this coming in, but for those unaware, what we have here on the left is the over-under, which is the total points from both teams. Then we have the spread, which is what they expect the winning team to win by per Vegas. And using that, we can figure out what each team is implied to be scoring. Now, obviously, the score can't end up 16.75 to 23.75, but it just gives you an idea of like what point range they expect these teams to be in. And it allows us to really focus on like, okay, we got to get the Bills in there. Obviously, going to have some Colts, going to have some Chiefs. So that's why we do that on the chart here. It gives us a good idea of like, okay, if we need guys that are going to break the slate and score multiple touchdowns, we don't want to be starting Browns because Vegas doesn't even think they're going to score 3, Yeah. So yeah, that's about it for the Patriots on us. What about let me ask you, do you think the Patriots are for real? Like, do you think this team can win the division potentially?
I think that I think the run game is going to be a little bit of a hindrance there. I mean, I think they're growing up before our eyes, and they're definitely a whole is greater than the sum of their parts team. I do, whether Kayshon Boutte can be like a consistent contributor, I think is going to go a long way to figure out what this team's going to do. But the fact that May is an MVP candidate right now, doing what he's doing with this current offense, I think is certainly to be commended. But I do think he needs some kind of help, whether it's like some guy coming up like a Kayshon Boutte or, whatever the case may be. But, they've got pieces. They obviously drafted their left tackle. Yes. Obviously they've got the quarterback. They got the 2 hardest things to figure out.
Right.
It's
pieces. You're right. But they're very thin. Like the teams that make long runs are usually pretty deep, or they just get lucky like the Eagles and no one gets, or the guys are healthy all at the right time, right. But like we saw it already when they lost Chris Gonzalez, they couldn't beat the Raiders. They have basically 3 really good players in May, Will Campbell, and Christian Gonzalez. And then I would also throw Milton Williams in there, but like,
yeah,
you can't win with that. You need to be a well-rounded team and have like better weapons, flat out better weapons. So I'm with you. I think they could be like a wild card team that either loses in the first round or maybe wins one and then loses. That could potentially happen.
Yeah,
they'll play their schedule. Their schedule is what allows that to happen because the schedule's so soft.
Yeah, they'll play the Broncos at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon in the wild card round.
Yeah, and that'll be it. But like, the schedule is so soft that they could potentially sneak their way in, which, you know what? I like to see it. That's fine to me. That's if they make the playoffs, I'll stamp this as a successful season for that team.
There you go.
Ravens, Bears. Ravens favored here, but Bears expected to punch back a little bit. A bear, if you would, Kev, if you want to.
I will. I do want to know what his health is going to be like. Obviously, DeAndre Swift has been on a massive heater, but the health is the biggest concern, whether he's going to play or not. If he was out, I wouldn't put Monangai in there, just because there's too many variables there. Right. With whether they end up splitting him with Roshan or whatever the case may be. And I think the Bears just don't have enough pass volume the last few weeks with we loved the start from Roma Dunze, but I don't think he's a guy that, you're going to put into a high ceiling lineup like this. He's probably a better actual DFS salary cap kind of play than a contest like this.
Right. Exactly. So we're not going to start Caleb. Odunze, he's cooled off. He had 5 touchdowns the first 4 games, but last 2 weeks he's been kind of tough here. No go on Odunze?
No, the role was awesome for Roma Dunze.
Yeah.
Keep on starting him in like your managed leagues, because I think we're gonna hit like the good side of variance. Like I'm pretty sure, 107, 86 air yards. Like the intent is to get him downfield.
Mhm.
It just hasn't hit. So like eventually it is going to hit. You're gonna get the other side of the pendulum there with him.
Yeah, I feel the same way, dude. It's like there's a lot of guys that are redraft must start players that aren't starts in something like this. And the Ravens, I will say this: the Ravens defense. Hopefully, Lamar plays and offense too, but they've basically been playing without the quarterbacks on both sides of the ball, right? Because not only they've been missing Lamar, but they've been missing Roquan Smith, who wears that green dot. I think this Ravens team is going to be better than people expect that they've been so far. And you see that with Vegas. Vegas is not fooled at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vegas is they are the most level-headed analysts there is, right? They don't get tricked. A team will come out and win big. Like you see it with the Giants. The Giants beat the Eagles last time, but the spread is 7.5 because they're realistic about it. So
Yeah.
same thing with the Ravens here. The Ravens are what are they 1-5 right now? But they're
Yeah,
not a
one
one
to
and
five.
five team. They played the Lions, they played the Chiefs, they played the Rams without their quarterback. They've had a brutal schedule, so they're going to be fine. On the Ravens side, speaking of which, what do you think? I mean, Lamar would be on the table if he were a full go, but it's getting kind of spooky.
Getting kind of spooky, and I think like if for some reason you're without Lamar, I think you're forgetting about you're not. I think without Lamar, you're not playing a Raven like
No, at
full
all.
go. Like I think maybe Derrick Henry, but still, I think that's a dicey proposition. Knowing the running backs that we have and some of the matchups we'll be talking about, it's going to be very hard to get a Derrick Henry in this lineup. But
You ready for
he
this?
might be one of those emeritus picks as well. And our favorite, not Jordan Loop, but Tyler Loop.
Jordan Loop's our favorite, but Tyler Loop, close second.
Yeah.
Close second. So we'll consider that. I mean, that could be a way to look at that 28 points and say, hey, we did something. So we'll
Yeah, he
figure it
could
out.
have the Will Riker generational game.
Right. Could be. I mean, it's a real shame that we can't play Gadsden, dude, because we were talking about it. We totally forgot that it was a
We
Thursday
can't
game.
get any residual points off of that because residual Gadsden points from Thursday night, I think we'd still probably clear.
FFPC, the FFPC is the one platform that lets you do that
I
sometimes, right?
know, man.
Well, they're not. That's only the week one. That's only the week one we get the free look. We got a chat here. 2 socks. It says start sit PPR 1 flex Chase Brown, Sutton, Pittman, and 2 wide receivers. Okay, so just the first one, quick. Who would you flex out of Chase Brown, Sutton, or Pittman? I
I
mean,
mean, I think it's got to
be
be
Sutton.
Sutton.
Yeah. Sutton's got the Cowboys, dude. That's going to be the shootout game of the week here.
That's
So
gonna
got
be
to go
fun.
Sutton. And then 2 wide receivers out of London, Pittman, Sutton, Egbuka, Flowers. That one's a little more tough because London, Sutton, and Egbuka are all like minimum top 7 guys this week, right?
Yeah, I think you could probably. I'm still throwing in London. I do think that we'll obviously talk about that game and one more game to go before we talk about that game. But I still think London is just too much of a big of a part of what they do in Atlanta as far as like honing in on guys like London and Bijan and Darnell Mooney. That's condensed there, and then I'd probably still go Sutton. I go London and Sutton. Pittman just misses out. So does Ibuka.
I
But
have those
I
guys
think
ranked 5, 6, 7 this week. 5, 6, 7.
London, Sutton, Ibuka in that order.
I'm gonna move Egbuka down. I had Egbuka at 5, but now that I'm seeing the injury business with him and the fact that he's kind of just been jogging around out there, I'm
Yeah.
gonna move him down a little bit. So that's where I look at that. But yeah, I mean, like, great team, 2 socks, and I would look to trade somebody. I would try probably you're never gonna get the right value for Pittman and Flowers. You're not for Sutton either, probably. So I would consider maybe either trading away London or Egbuka for a running back or trying to package up Pittman, Flowers, Sutton, and do 2 for 1. But
Yeah.
no one's ever going to give you what Pittman and Flowers are actually worth.
Yeah.
So besties, I mean, we just schedule ended up being tough.
Life.
We all have kids now, or a lot of us do. Like, and JB has 2 kids. Like, so we still chat and we do our best to get together when we can. Luke came up to the to the Boston Scott Fish Bowl. We try to make it down to the Expo when we can, but that's what goes. But we're still besties. We just don't
Yep.
do a show. Last one here for Victor. Rest of season, 4-point TD, Stafford or Daniel Jones. The rest of season is always tough, but hard to go away from Daniel Jones.
It is. Yeah, it'd probably still be Daniel Jones. I think it's close between that because you obviously don't get anything rushing to Stafford, but the Rams offense at full strength is an absolute wagon. So, it makes that tough, but I think you got to take some of the rushing stuff and kind of that helps buoy Jones a little bit over Stafford.
6-point passing. Now you really consider Stafford though. But 4-point obviously favors Daniel Jones over Stafford.
Yeah,
absolutely. Then he offered Jones for Rashee Rice. No, if you have Stafford, then in a single QB, Victor, I'm never trading for a quarterback like that. Don't trade Rashee Rice for a quarterback.
They're trying to pull the wool over you.
Yeah, don't worry about it, dude. Because you're helping that guy way more than you're helping yourself.
Yep,
you really are. And good point from Joey Wright. Egbuka 98%, better than 90% of other sprinting wide receivers. That's true. I have over 100. The thing is, I got over 100 guys ranked here, and Egbuka is still ranked at 7. So very good player, but maybe a little nicked up. All right, back to what we're doing here. Again, folks, just joining us building an FFPC lineup. So we're taking the best of the best of the best, sir, putting them in this sheet here. You can't use any. You can only use one guy from each team. So when you see Hurts, Smith, and Barkley, we can only pick one of those guys. So we're going to narrow it down once we get to the end of the show here. 49ers, man, very interesting team. I will just say a quick piece on George Kittle. The Falcons might have the best safety duo in the league. And I know that's offensive to say because everyone likes to think they have the best safety duo in the league. I know the Lions with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, so good. But let's put it this way. The best young safety duo with this rookie they got, Xavier Watts. He's awesome. Everyone knows Jesse Bates is awesome. And those guys, the way they play, it's kind of like an inside-out defense where Jesse Bates is like up on the line like the whole game. That's bad for tight ends. And George Kittle, I mean, they were all over him last week. And George Kittle, this isn't a good matchup for him either. If George Kittle has a bad week this week, I'm going to try and buy low in every league. So that's my speech on George Kittle. This isn't even a good format for George Kittle because it's tight end premium, and we don't get bonuses for yards and touchdowns. So we probably won't use Kittle here, but that's my stump speech on George Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle's never been like a great FFPC play just because you want compilers. You want guys that are just gonna, that's why I would consider Dalton Schultz in this because of that aspect. But for the 49ers, I mean, CMC is always clearly in play.
That's what we're doing. Let's just we don't have to mess around. We're putting him in the lineup.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's what we said that with Brock Bowers last season. He's going in the lineup, no doubt.
We don't got to fool around with it. He's going to be in there, so we need to waste time on the 49ers more than that. That's why I wanted to get the Kittle thing out first before we inevitably said CMC. Let's move on. With the Texans, running backs can't really trust them in something like this. What you got the latest on Nico? I've been looking for info, but I don't think he's going to clear, man.
Yeah, the concussion protocol is tough. Everything I've seen probably leads him to be out, but we haven't gotten official word on that, at least that I have seen prior to our show here. But I think, God, the Texans have just been a total cluster.
Both in terms of like the wide receivers. Both ruled out per Aaron Wilson. Both Christian Kirk and Nico are going to be out this week. They're already ruled out in advance.
Gotcha. All right, then we don't have to worry about any other Texan. Like I wrote in like my Rotoballer article about I went on a big soliloquy about the Texans and how they still are giving Jaden Higgins like 40% routes and Jalen Noel like they're putting Xavier Hutchinson on the field and Braxton Berrios and like not even giving like the young guys a real like legitimate shot.
Yeah. So how this is a good question from Fatty. How have the other teams done? So last year we cashed in 4 of them, 2 during the season and 2 during the playoffs. This year we have not cashed. We've come very close. We've also been doing a couple more of the 100 team challenges this week, which are much more difficult. Like last week we did a 100 team challenge. We came in, like 25th, which is fine, but not even close to the money and something like that. We've come in 6th, 7th, 11th, 13th, 5th, and then in the big ones, 26th and 52nd. So no cash yet. No cash yet, but I mean like the teams that came in 6th, 7th, and 11th and 13th, those are all right in it. And we're hoping this is going to be the week for us. It's a lot of fun to do these. And again, it's $35 to get in. There's a lot of different levels. I like the $35 ones. And you can do a 10-team one, a 30-team one, or a 100-team one. We don't really do the 10-team ones because I mean it's like we're not trying to shoot fish in a barrel. We're trying to hit it big, you know. So we're I think the top 4 teams get paid out, and you can edit your team up to the last minute. So that's what we're doing here. But we got to beat Jim Coventry. Finished our team finished. No, not Jim Coventry. That was Free Arroyo. That was me and Theo Greminger.
Okay.
So Theo Greminger and I came in 6th. The Jello Shooters with me and Chuck Bass came in 7th. The Iron Bicep was Jim Coventry's team, number 13.
You got a name for us?
You know what? I just went with old reliable lightning round.
There we go.
The lightning round, baby. Yeah. Dave Kluge, the Forgotten Pie, 52nd. Rebar's Revenge with Rich Rebar came at 11. And then the Pachinki brothers last week, 26 out of 100. So we're looking to hit it here. That was me and Tyler Oginski because we play PUBG.
Oh, okay.
The Pachinki brothers, dude. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's get back into it. The where were we? Dolphins, Falcons. Dolphins are a big no, or do you want to put HN in there?
HN's and always in the conversation, really is, certainly.
Because they just like once they start losing, they basically just line him up at wide receiver.
That's why he's like a top 5 back, is that even like if he gets shut out, and he's had the 10 for 13 games, but then is always supplanted with like 7 for 79 and a touchdown. Like he'll still get there. Like there's so many paths to HN hitting that he has to be at very least in consideration. Oh man, like look, you're reading the tea leaves too? I mean,
we're putting his name on the sheet. No, I'm just kidding. We would never use him. He might not even play over Tanner Connor. I think like 5 people just left the stream. We're not actually starting Dulcich, but just so you guys know.
Picked him up in Scott Fishbowl.
So did I. Yeah. But that's a team with 12. That's a league with 12 teams and 22 roster spots. So we're talking about every 300 players are rostered. I picked him up too just to see. Because I mean, dude, Tanner Connor is not exactly what is it from the Departed? There's guys you can hit and guys you can't hit. Like Tanner Connor is not exactly a guy you can't hit.
The fact they put Waller on IR and they immediately elevated him. They want that skill set as like a deeper A-dot tight end.
And we've seen it. I saw Albert O get activated from a practice squad and be the top pass catching tight end for a team. I've seen guys.
To be fair, the Raiders are a Sun Belt team.
But yeah, I mean, it happened. That did happen. Like that just happened. There have been guys that come off the street. I watched Kamani Vidal come off the practice squad to be a guy. I watched Michael Carter come out, right? I'm practice squads where you want to be, actually. So Terrence Ferguson popped off the practice squad and caught a couple. He was wide open for one and then caught another one. So just okay. Everybody, let us live. Hey, let us live. All right, it's Friday. Falcon side, we're gonna have a Falcon. Want me to just put the obvious names on here?
Yeah, he's the chalk of all. Oh yeah, Bijan is the chalk of all chalk. Any running back against the Dolphins.
I like Pitts, man, but like I've never had a chance to start him in something like this because you can't because of the other guys, you know.
Yeah. Like, and it's nice that they released Raven McLeod. Obviously, they had the most 11 personnel utilization last season. Now then the most 12 personnel. Obviously, getting Pitts on the field pretty much made McLeod superfluous, didn't need him. So it's nice, even though we kind of knew how the Falcons operate, it's nice to see that, Casey Washington has been on the field way more, but it's good to see them like finally have some like finality and leaning into the 12 personnel stuff.
Basically what they're doing is it's London, Pitts, Bijan all game, and then Charlie Warner and Casey Washington kind of each play half the game, right? That's kind of what we're seeing. So I like it. 2 socks. Dobbins and Henry in the lineup. Chase Brown in the lineup over either of those guys for you, or no? Leave it.
I'd leave it. I mean, I still do like, Dobbins. He still had 81 yards in that game when he was kind of game scripted out. So, look, Dobbins is RJ Harvey and Tyler Bidet are like passing, specialists right now. But Dobbins, when they need yards, when they're in a game, he's going to be the guy that's going to get close to 60% snaps. So
yeah, Dobbins and Ramondre. If you went and drafted the Dobbins, Ramondre, Javante crew there, you're doing okay. Like if you went 0 RB with the Dusties, which is generally speaking, a terrible move, you're actually doing okay, right?
Dobbins was my Dusty of choice, though. Dobbins he was going way lower than all those guys. That's the thing,
right?
Because everybody was steaming up RJ Harvey to the 5th. And trust me, I understood. I know you were big on RJ Harvey just because of the Broncos offense. And it's probably a more later season play. We get spoiled for all these running backs and wide receivers that hit immediately that we kind of have to pull back a little bit on a macro level and say, hey, not everybody can hit. You're going to get your end of season hits. We just got to be patient.
Right. And I've got like 800 in fees on the underdog on Ramondre and only like 200 probably on Travion, which is like, I mean, when you max out best ball of me, that's like only 8 teams, So
yeah,
I was in on that side, not on the Dobbins side. I wish I had more Dobbins. Last question, then we'll jump back in. Dart or Tyrod? Still Dart, even with the matchup, man. Yeah, you can't start
Dart.
Tyrod.
Dart, look, they found a quarterback. Like Dart's been awesome in terms of like he's been good for fantasy, but he's like been way better for like the real life. We know they're going to be, he is going to be this Giants future at quarterback. And
he's got the swag.
He's got moxie, kid.
Gotta get, dude, New York City, you got to have that guy, dude. You got to have him. Buccaneers or Saints here. We'll start on the Saints side like we typically do with the lower scoring team. Any Saint. I mean, Kamara has just been brutal. Even with Kendra Miller out, I don't think I could start him in something like this. I'm starting him in a bunch of regular leagues, but
no, I think Olave's in play though. But look, Olave, some are calling him the NFC Cortland Sutton in terms of just like week to week consistency. I mean, that certainly counts for something, and they're targeting him a little bit more downfield than they were in the beginning of the season. So, I mean, Olave,
his career trajectory reminds me a lot so far of Terry McLaurin. Right? It's like he's getting the yards. Some like McLaurin was always 1,000-yard guy, and he would score 4 touchdowns. And then once they got Jaden Daniels, he was a 1,000-yard guy and scored 13 touchdowns. So Olave in Dynasty, definitely a guy you're holding on to, but like I don't know, he's getting a ton of targets. So we might be able to sneak him in there, right?
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. I mean, look, it's hard to argue with target value. Targets are king. He earns them. I mean, look, target earning is a skill. Whether you want to admit that or not, with Matthew Golden and I don't know if you saw that Twitter thread about Emeka Egbuka and Matthew Golden the other day, but targets are definitely earned.
Right. Yeah, 100%. So on the Buccaneers side, where do you want to go?
Oh man, I mean it's hard. Otten, I think, is in play certainly. Rashad. I don't know if I could do Rashad White. I don't even know if I can.
Have to, man.
I think Baker's more. Baker's in play. I mean, they all don't feel like the greatest options, and I know it's a good matchup, but
Egbuka has been a guy we've been starting just because, and he hasn't really delivered lately, but he can in any given week, and they're going to be leaning on him this week. So we'll see when it stacks up, because a lot of times you get there, we get to the end of this thing, and we're like, man, we got to start some wide receivers because there's not always great options. Chat wants to know a couple quick ones. Trade Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet for Henry. So a player and his handcuff, but not really handcuff, more like a touchdown vulture nightmare for Derrick Henry.
I mean, I would.
I think I'd rather have Henry, yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely rather have Henry. And look, not since the Devils' backfield of Zach Moss and Devin Singletary have we seen a split that's literally down the middle that you flip a coin, basically, for like either of those running backs. Save yourself the headache and get Derrick Henry for those.
Yeah, agreed. Dave wants to know Breece Hall, Scary Terry. Think about the Kenneth Walker for the chart. The last thing on that is that that's a trade that I feel like we would do at any point during the season, pre-draft, now, that hasn't changed really, because Kenneth Walker was ranked below Henry, and I still rank him below Henry.
Right. I think I'd be Breece Hall here, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for the guaranteed touches because you don't really know for sure with those other guys. We don't know who Andy Dalton's going to throw to. He was throwing a lot to Xavier Legette last week. Titans, I know. Titans, Colts. Titans are just off the table for us. Make our lives easy.
Completely.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, Colts though. This is tough. We have to pick one of these guys.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, that's 2024 Saquon Barkley, Jonathan
Right.
Taylor.
We'll put Warren's name in there, and I guess we'll put Jones in here too. But it's probably just got to be JT, dude. We've been having a hard time. I don't know if we started Warren once because we keep starting JT, and
I mean,
it's right every week.
Look, when you're Jonathan Taylor, like everything's coming up aces. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're redrafting for this season, like who is your 101? I mean, because you're looking at a very short list of like JT, Bijan, and
Or McCaffrey.
maybe Puka Nacua. McCaffrey, it's McCaffrey.
It's one of those guys. It's one of those. I think it's one of those three guys. It might be McCaffrey. In full PPR, it's probably McCaffrey, but like you couldn't really go wrong. I wouldn't even want the first pick. I'd want the third pick. You know,
Right? Yeah, that's the thing. You get the one that everybody leaves you.
Yeah, just get a better pick in the second round. You know,
Right.
so I think that's where I live with those guys. I'd just be happy to have any one of them. You know,
Yep.
so even Gibbs maybe like picking like fourth or fifth, but I don't think he's in the conversation for the top pick. Okay, Cowboys, Broncos here. This is the gangbuster one here. 51 point, the only one with a 50-point over under. Start on the Cowboys side. CeeDee Lamb versus Surtain. Does that scare you? Are you scared? But Lamb actually going to go into the slot a ton, so it's really probably going to be more Pickens against Surtain.
Yeah, because Pickens is the guy they've kept at X just so he doesn't have to learn other roles. Like they wanted to make sure that they kept him there when Lamb got hurt. So that's why you saw like Ryan Flournoy pop, when he was out. But yeah, I think still Lamb is definitely a play because he's historically gone into the slot when that's condensed down.
Right.
So Javante's in play, Dak's in play certainly, and then Ferguson. Just across the board for the Cowboys.
Yeah. And Jerry's saying Javonte Williams revenge game. Yeah, I didn't even think of that narrative. It's the Broncos, the old stomping ground. This is a great format for Ferguson. This is like the Ferguson format because receptions are doubled and he's just a reception machine. Fatty says everything coming up Millhouse. Let's go.
Everything is coming at Millhouse, especially with the lineup we're gonna build. Yeah.
Pacheco or Diggs if you were trading?
I'm Pacheco. Pacheco's, his role is grown a little bit, and I know Brashard Smith has been the Jerick McKinnon, Hunt's been hurt, but with the Chiefs the way they are now at full strength in the receiving game, like there's going to be a lot of opportunity in positive game script for Pacheco to just stumble around to 2 touchdowns.
I'm with it, man. Yeah, he's been getting a little bit of a better workload. They keep talking about Brashard Smith, but then he played in garbage time. He got a couple targets, but
you saw the 5 targets outside of that though. That's the
he
thing
did, in the early part.
Yeah.
But being the starting running back and goal line back for the Chiefs, like you just kind of fall your way to a bunch of touchdowns. On the Broncos side, I think it's just got to be Sutton, right? I think that's the move.
I think Bo Nix is like a little bit in play as well. Like I think he's like a lower tier play, but I think, obviously if you have a 51-point team total, you got to find ways to get there that, it's not always going to be Cowboys. I mean, obviously the Broncos are favored. You got to figure out how they're going to be scoring their touchdowns. And so, and I know they're just the one of the most frustrating offenses in the NFL because they use so much personnel across the board at all positions. So that's what makes it tougher to like throw in your guys. But Sutton is the clear and obvious. He's the only guy that like runs consistent routes outside of like Troy Franklin, and Franklin's pretty spotty as well. And you obviously never throw him into a lineup like this. But I think Dobbins is certainly in play too if you want to get a little froggy.
I mean, we could think about Engram. I wish he played more. He's gotten 6 targets in 4 straight games, but in something like this, can't start a guy that has yet not ran a 70% route participation yet in the game. Just can't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was. I think I put up a graphic a couple weeks ago, like all the top 25 tight ends, and Engram was. Everybody else was over like 60%, but Evan Engram.
So, that makes his targets per route run high, but like that only matters if we expect the guy to get more snaps. So same thing with Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid leads the league in yards per route run, but do they have any intention of increasing the snaps? Until we see that, you can't just move those guys up. So, like,
Right.
Ingram, I'm very comfortable starting him in a PPR league, just a redraft, but here we're looking for a ceiling, which means we need guys that are playing 90% of the game.
Yep.
So that's where we're living on those guys. Steelers, Packers, a classic battle with a classic 45-point spread over under. Even 45 might be high for these guys. I don't know. You're the Packers fan. If you had to pick a Packer, what do you think?
That's Jacobs.
Yeah. Jacobs,
It's
dude.
the boring, unsexy pick, but he's like the Poochie from The Simpsons. Like whenever Josh Jacobs is not on screen, everybody else has to ask, "Where's Josh Jacobs?"
Right. Where's Fucci, dude? He's back,
Yeah.
going back to his planet. I think Jacobs is the guy. And I like to get him in there. On the Steelers side, eh,
Yeah, Jalen Warren is his role has been, because they've kind of sent Gainwell back a little bit in terms of
right.
like his actual production. Like Caleb Johnson is still firmly in the doghouse, the Brandon Ayuk Memorial doghouse. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I can't rank anybody. I
no,
can't
yeah,
unless we have him ranked top 12, we can't use him here. I guess
yeah,
I'll put Boswell's name down. He's a real weapon, that
the
guy.
Boz
The
at
Boz.
home too. He kicked,
Yeah,
yeah,
but the implied point total has me kind of maybe not looking to do that. Chiefs, Commanders. Chiefs, definitely supposed to be all over them here. Commanders, nothing.
yeah. I would love to put Bill in there, but I can't. I just can't. Not in this with a
Not in
negative
this
game
one.
script. You're probably going to see more McNichols
Yeah.
in the second half.
Yeah, before we get to the last team here, Charlene's got a question. Friend of the show. Egbuka, Sutton, AJ Brown, or Jennings, two of those guys.
First
It's
two.
Yeah, AJ Brown might not even play, so you gotta go
Yeah.
Egbuka and Sutton for sure. And then Fred, what's up, Fred? Member here at Fantasy Alarm. Due to weak waivers and trade options, would have to drop Pearsall, Jacoby, or Kenneth Walker. Uh, Potentially playing wide receiver in Philly this week. Could be bad juju, right? Well,
I mean, if you got to
definitely
drop
not.
somebody, I mean, Jacoby Myers is
Jacoby,
probably the
yeah.
guy. Just the horrible environment with the Raiders.
Right.
Trey Tucker has actually come on quite a bit, but they just have not been themselves when Brock Bowers got hurt. The entire like the game plan, most of the game plan for the Raiders going into the season was how can we utilize Brock Bowers when you have a struggling Geno Smith and then Jacoby
Yeah.
Myers gets hurt, you're a shell.
Right. And they asked Jacoby, they were like, "You still want to get traded?" And he said, "For sure." So there you go. Chiefs, Mahomes on the board.
On the docket,
Rice,
Rice.
yeah. Meh, you don't
The
need these guys.
podcaster? The podcaster?
Who's the pod? Oh,
Tre
yeah.
tr
Do you wanna go with the pod father?
the other yeah, the second
The
podfather?
pod brother? I don't know if we're gonna do it. Maybe, though, but we'll see how it shakes out. Okay. Here's what we're doing, folks, for if you're just joining us late. We're putting all the top names into this sheet just so you have an idea of, like, what the top options are this week. We're now going to create an FFPC lineup. And the way that works is there's no draft, no salary. You basically can just pick any players you want with only one rule. You can't pick two players from the same team. So if we start Bijan, we can't use London. And that is a shame. But
It is.
it also stops you from, the pain that comes with just not having the exact right stack. Like when you play on some of the other sites, if you don't have the quarterback stacked with the right wide receiver, you just lose. We don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that here. You can't do that. So there's a lot of different ways to build a lineup and a lot of different ways to get to the chalk. So just scrolling through here, what's a name? What's at least a name or two that you think we went through and we are like, okay, that guy's in our lineup no matter what, and we'll start there.
I'd say Bijan.
Bijan, we said Bijan and CMC, so we can just put those guys in our running back spots.
Yeah.
What about a wide receiver? Is there any name that's just like, yeah, definitely this week?
I mean, Chase for me.
Yeah, good. Well, that's good. So, because that makes our life easy to have those names. So let's start there. I'm going to flip us over to the team tab. Look at that. Let's maybe we do a little bit of this here so everyone can see a little better.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll start with Chase, who is a wide receiver, and it'll be easier to find him when you click that. Okay, he's in. Running backs, we don't have to scroll far to find these folks. All right, so we do need to start at least one more wide receiver for sure, and then we're into flexes. So why don't we pop back over here? We got Chase in. So the other wide receivers we put on the sheet are Devonta Smith. We just put Bijan in, so we can't use London. Devonta Smith, Egbuka, Olave, Lamb, Sutton, Rice.
I think because of the team total and because of how strong his role is within the offense, I think it's Sutton.
And I think, because Sutton there, I do have him ranked very high this week. And we want to kind of have our top ranked players in. So 4 wide receiver for you, like probably have Chase ranked 1. Jefferson already played. JSN's on bye. Pook is on bye. Who do you have as like towards your top 5 this week?
I mean, it's certainly Chase is the top one. Rice, Lamb, London would be in there, and it stinks that obviously we can't use him. But I mean, Jefferson played yesterday, but Sutton is right there. If AJ Brown plays, he's in calf. I think could be in consideration. We didn't even put him on the list.
We don't have to use. We'll put Metcalf on just to have his name on. We don't have to use any more wide receivers if we don't want. That's the beautiful thing about this. What's going on here? Okay, we'll switch over to the other tab here, and we'll let that figure itself out for a second. So we don't have to use any more wide receivers if we don't want to. I know it's full PPR, tight end premium, but let's jump back in here. Do we want to just get Jonathan Taylor in?
I think
actually, you know what would really solve our would really be a good way to figure out how we're going to live is picking a quarterback here.
Like, I mean, I would probably. Oh, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out because it's between Mahomes and
Josh Allen,
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. I think the Bills live on James Cook. Just to get back to like what they
put James Cook in then.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be James Cook over Josh. And I think I would either because I don't feel as good about obviously the pass catchers, but Jalen Hurts obviously carries enough, weight himself to be between him and Mahomes.
So if we go with Hurts, like
that opens up Rice.
Let's do it this way. We're not going to use Devonta Smith.
Right.
If we were going to use, would you rather use Barkley or Rashee Rice? We don't have to use either, but would you rather use Barkley or Rashee Rice if it came to it?
It'd be Rice.
Okay, so let's just start Jalen Hurts then.
Yeah.
And we'll keep that on the table for us if we want to go there. Do we want to just put Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs in?
Taylor, and can you flip back to the screen? I just want to see.
Yeah.
Back to the spreadsheet. I do want to put Taylor in though, for sure.
Well, because if we use Taylor, we can't use Warren, and that's maybe we should do the tight end next because we have to have at least one tight end. Like Schultz and Auden, right. I have ranked like in that 8, 9, 10 range. I would rather use somebody who's a lock, like Warren or Ferguson, probably.
I think for tight end, it would be Ferguson for me.
For this format. So we go Ferguson?
Yeah.
Okay. So, now
just because tight ends, like no McBride this week either. Like it's
right. And Surtain's going to be covering one of those wide receivers every play. So, definitely helps Ferg a bit.
Yeah. And I look at those Cowboys like receivers. I look at them the way that they funnel targets, kind of like the Eagles, but with like so much more pass volume. Like it's a better version of the Smith, Brown, Goddard play with Pickens, Lamb, and Ferguson.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go Ferg. Here, I'll jump back over and we'll just do that real quick. Here we go. Ferguson is in. So we have 3 flexes, then we need a kicker and a defense. Before we get back to that, just real quick, if Brown doesn't play, my only options are Iamnar or scrape off waivers. Well, let us know what the scrape is. Iamnar, I mean, at least he plays a ton and gets some targets. They've been bad, but you could do worse. But let us know if there's anything else out there. Brad Stewart wants to know flex Moondog or Tez Johnson.
Probably Moondog just by a hair.
Yeah,
there, like, feel good about his role, because I do like Tez Johnson as a player, but he's still running like 60% of routes in that offense. When obviously Mike Evans was out, so he kind of had to come in and was a little more pressed into action. But Like, he's still kind of splitting with like the Cameron Johnsons, the Ryan Millers, and it's not like a role that he has to himself. It's still
Right.
very rotational.
I think the difference to me is that like Darnell Mooney, if we're talking about, especially if this is a roster decision, if you have to add one off waivers, Mooney has a little more juice rest of season because Tez, if he has a bad week this week and then he goes on bye and then Godwin gets back, you might never even think about Tez again. But
Right.
Mooney's always going to have his role. He's always going to have weekly upside because of the field stretcher role that he does.
Yeah.
So I'm Mooney this week and definitely Mooney rest of season.
Yeah, and there's such a massive gap after London and Mooney, where it's literally Casey Washington, David Sills, and Kadero Hodge. You don't ever have to think about
Right.
the other three guys in terms of viability for
They're
fantasy.
not going to bite into his timeshare there.
Right. They are all three of them are Jahan Dotson.
Yeah. So okay, so we got CMC in our. Let's scroll up to the top. We've got Chase in. We have Cook in. We have Hurts. We're not going to use Scatterbo. We're not going to use May. We might use the Patriots defense. DeAndre Swift or Henry are on the table. Do we get Derrick Henry in?
I think we might have to get Big Dog in there.
Go big dog here?
Do you want to go Big Dog, or do you want to go? Oh, we already used the Cowboys. I was going to say Javonte. Or like H-Chan's in there. Like, how are the Dolphins going to get even up to?
How do you have these guys ranked this week? Because we can start three of Taylor, Jacobs, H-Chan, and Henry if we want.
I mean, it's Bijan, CMC, Taylor, my top three, and then I have H-Chan next. H-Chan and then Jacobs.
H-Chan and then Jacobs. I mean, we can just do this. Like, if we that's the beauty of FFPC. Like, we can just do that if we want. I mean,
if there were stronger tight end options, I would consider,
really
tossing one in. But like when you're, I don't want to say it's scraping the barrel because it's not. But in terms of like profiles and how you feel comfortable about them, you don't feel comfortable putting Dalton Schultz or Kate Otten in your lineup. Obviously you're Warren, we're using JT, we're using Ferguson. We have one tight end spot to put him in, and we have to put one in, but after that it's very dicey.
Yeah. So I'm with that, man. We got the waiver report from DM7819. Dubs, Judy, Mooney, Coleman, Mims, Franklin are top of the list, and Downs. So I am an R among those guys in a full PPR.
You know what? I've had to capitulate to the Romeo Dobbs industrial complex over the last couple weeks. Look, Dobbs is a pretty good play. Like, he's sneakily with the injuries to Dontavian Wicks and obviously Jaden Reed. I think him and Kraft have condensed some stuff in that Packers offense that's not very condensed. So I do actually like Dobbs a little bit more, and he's the route runner. He always runs 80% of routes like clockwork. You can set your watch to it. So I like him over Iomatter for sure.
Yeah. Also, I think he's caught 100% of his end zone targets this year, all four,
and he's got the NBA Jam big head code on all the time.
Yeah. So you could get a touchdown. He's the best bet. If I had to bet one of these guys to score a touchdown, it would be Dobbs easily. So I think that's where I go there. Greg says Kraft, Gadsden, Strange. Would you trade one in Superflex Dynasty? Here's the thing with Strange is that in Dynasty for Strange, you almost had to quietly be rooting against Travis Hunter. Yeah. And now that Travis Hunter's up to a full-time role and he's looked pretty good, I would move Strange for whatever, literally whatever. So
you could probably get a 3rd round pick for him, I would say.
That's what I'd probably do, man. That's what I would do. All right, let's wrap this puppy up. We need a kicker and a defense here. So kick. Let's start with the defense.
Okay.
What's going on with this? Kicker, defense.
There we go.
We could go. I like the Patriots, man. I think they're of the options available to us. We could go Patriots versus Browns. We go Texans versus 49ers. I don't know if I love that. Tampa Bay against Notre Dame, though, too, on the table.
Yeah, I'd probably be Patriots over the Browns. Yeah, because we've used all the other, obviously we've used a Colt, we've used a Falcon. Like,
the ones are obvious, right? Like the Colts, man. I have them ranked 1 this week.
I think I have. Let's see. I think I'm Atlanta at 1.
I mean, you could even. That's both are incredible this week.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just Tennessee's been they just give the ball away. Cam Ward is just giving the ball away, which is why I ranked them first. Okay, well, why don't we just look at kicker then quick, just to see if that affects our decision. Ooh, do we just start Harrison Butker?
I think I like the Boz play or Loop.
You wanna go
Boz or
Luke?
Loop. Although, you know what?
Highest implied point total.
Tampa's indoors against New Orleans with a bunch of guys out. Chase McLaughlin might not be a bad play. Get the controlled environment.
Okay. Well, I mean, how do you have them ranked this week? I think I wanna see what I have how I have them.
I mean, the
I do have
kickers we use. I have McLaughlin at 2.
I have Aubrey at 1, Butker at 2, Loop at 3, and I have McLaughlin at 5.
Badgley. Oh, yeah.
I have Badgley at 4.
Yeah. But Loop's in there. Boswell's in there.
You don't like Butker? I mean, he's been missing quite a bit.
Not a big fan of Butker in terms of just because I don't think they're going to need the kicker in that game. The Chiefs get up. Like he's going to be kicking 3 or 4 extra points.
Or he just kicks a ton of field goals because they're the better team. Okay, it sounds like we have Loop as our middle ground.
I'm good with Loop.
Okay. And then defense, Patriots?
Patriots.
Boom. All right, there it is. So this is the lineup this week. This is the kind of lineup you can build. This lineup is within the rules. It seems like we're cheating somehow, but we're not. We have Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. Okay, we have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Our wide receivers are Cortland Sutton and Jamar Chase. And then our running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, James Cook, and Josh Jacobs. In a tight end premium format, we were able to get Jake Ferguson in there. Our kickers, Tyler Loop, and we have the Patriots defense going up against the Browns.
Yeah, with all these running backs in this lineup, I've already got 2 missed calls right now from the 0 RB.
People are upset. This is where you get all year. This is where you get it all in, though. Like you go 0
in
RB in season. You go 0 RB and then make an FFPC lineup with every running back you didn't draft, and now you get everything, man. You have your cake and eat it too. If you guys want to play over an FFPC, you can hit this QR code that I'm going to put conveniently over my good friend Kevin's face right now, and they'll give you $25 when you deposit. No, stay under there. They give you 25 when you deposit 35 or more. And this contest, just a little heads up, this contest is $35 to enter. So if you deposit 45 and they give you 25, then you can enter twice. I think that's kind of the way to go, or put in however much you want and enter how many you want. But use promo code ALARM when you get set up, and you can play with us. It's a lot of fun. I think this contest might have like 1 or 2 more spots left. I'll even give you the number if you just think we're stupid and you want to take our good players and then swap them out and beat us. Go right ahead. Go ahead and try. Our team's lightning round. We'll see you at the finish line. So there you go. I've seen some people jump in with us. I'm not sure if Icy beat us last week or the week he was in, but so yeah, there you go. Kev, thank you so much for joining, man. I always love chopping it up with you. Once again, just let people know where they can find you, what you got going on.
Yeah, at K Tompkins on the Twitter machine, at K Tompkins on Blue Sky as well. You can find my stuff over at Rotoballer as well as Optimus Fantasy. We're building a lot of stuff out on Optimus. I've got an angles and leverage article coming out tomorrow morning in terms of like just some scattershot thoughts on the week 8 slate, just some kind of DFS thoughts and some kind of redraft thoughts. But my big article comes out every Thursday at Rotoballer talking about every single team. It's a labor of love. It's like almost 9,000 words about the week before. So definitely my favorite piece of the week, and I'm excited to go through this content journey with you, because look, it's a 17-18 week grind every single season, but we do it for the love of the game.
And then we grind the entire offseason too. We always pretend like we're going to take a break and then
go on vacation.
Yeah, because the thing is, the Super Bowl ends and there's like, the combine's in like 3 weeks.
Oh, you mean the big board is open on under?
Right, it's literally we get like 2. The offseason really for us is like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
the offseason for me is actually like that 1 week before the Super Bowl, when they give like the extra week for the Super Bowl. That's my is that one the media week or whatever that is.
Yeah,
so
that's if you don't get sent to the Super Bowl,
right? Yeah, so no off season, no days off. Thank you everybody for joining the chat. Do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe on the way out. We are here at 1 o'clock every day during the week. We also have a show 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursdays. I'll be back to answer everyone's start sit questions 11 to noon here on this channel. I'll be on Sirius XM tonight, 6 to 8 p.m., channel 87. You guys know where to find me on the social media. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here.
Adios, turd nuggets.